The scent of sawdust and fresh-cut pine was my sanctuary. It was the smell of honest work, of something tangible and real built by my own two hands. I was in my workshop, fitting a dovetail joint on a custom cherrywood desk, when my phone buzzed on the bench. The name Liam lit up the screen. My older brother, a casino pit boss in Reno. A call at 10:30 p.m. on a Tuesday was unusual, but not alarming. We talked often. Ethan. His voice was a low, tight wire, stripped of its usual easygoing humor. You need to sit down. I set down my chisel, a prickle of unease tracing my spine. I'm in the shop. I'm good. What's up? He took a sharp breath. Chloe is here, at my tables, right now. I laughed, a short, dismissive sound. No, she's not. She's in Sacramento. Left this morning for that financial tech summit. Her flight was at 8 a.m. Ethan. Liam's voice dropped to a near whisper, the kind used in chapels and hospital corridors. I'm looking right at her. She's at the high-limit blackjack table. She's with some guy in a tailored gray suit. They've been here for hours. They just charged $1,800 worth of Dom Perignon and caviar to your black card, room 4218. The world didn't slow down. It simply vanished. The familiar shapes of my tools, the grain of the wood, the very air in my lungs, it all just ceased to exist. I was standing in a void, the phone pressed hard against my ear. I walked on unfeeling legs to the kitchen window and stared out into the dark Sacramento night. Chloe's BMW wasn't in the driveway, but of course it wasn't. She'd driven it to the airport. You're sure it's her? The question was automatic, a desperate plea from my dying reality. I ran the card number through our system myself, Ethan. It's yours. She's been charging everything. Meals, spa treatments, a private gambling lesson for the guy. He paid for the room, but every other cent of this little vacation is on your tab. My chest constricted, a band of iron tightening around my ribs. What does he look like? Tall, salt and pepper hair. Looks like he spends more time in a salon than a gym. Mid-40s. Watch that probably costs more than your truck. They're comfortable together, Ethan. Like they've done this before. I ended the call without another word and immediately dialed Chloe's cell. It went straight to voicemail. Her professional, polished tone echoed in the silent house. You've reached Chloe Delaney. I'm unavailable right now. I called again. Same result. A cold, numb clarity began to seep into the edges of the shock. I walked upstairs, my footsteps unnaturally loud on the hardwood. Our bedroom smelled of her perfume, Jo Malone Orange Blossom. The bed was neatly made. On her dresser lay the itinerary she'd printed out for me. Sacramento FinTech Summit, 3 days, the Sawyer Hotel downtown, Conference Center sessions. It looked legitimate, but Liam didn't lie. Not ever. I picked up the paper. My eye, trained to spot imperfections in wood and structure, caught it immediately. The header was generic. The hotel confirmation number was a string of digits that didn't match the format on our previous statements from the Sawyer. The schedule was a bland list of times and room numbers with no specific speaker names or company logos. It was a prop. A beautifully crafted piece of fiction. My phone buzzed on the dresser. A text from an unknown Reno number. A single word. Sorry. A photo followed. It was Chloe. She was wearing an emerald green cocktail dress I had never seen, cut low in the back. She was leaned into the man in the gray suit, his hand possessively on the small of her back, his lips near her ear. She was smiling, a radiant, unguarded smile I hadn't been the recipient of in at least a year. The smile was a knife to the heart. The emerald dress was the twist. I set the phone down and stared at our wedding photo on the wall. We were on a beach in Maui, windblown and sun-kissed, looking at each other like we just won the lottery. Something inside me, something warm and hopeful, shattered. In its place, A glacial coldness settled in, quiet and absolute. I had met Chloe 8 years ago at a home builder's exposition in San Diego. She was working a booth for a commercial lending firm, dazzling everyone with her intellect and wit. She understood project financing and bridge loans better than guys who'd been in the business for decades. When I started Stonecraft Custom Builders 4 years ago, she was the one that helped me structure the business loan, who advised me on the books. We bought our modern farmhouse on the outskirts of Elk Grove together. It was supposed to be our forever home.
Chloe traveled for work, maybe once a month. Sometimes it was a short hop to San Francisco, sometimes a multi-day summit in Seattle or Denver. She always came back tired but energized, full of stories about dry presentations and rubbery chicken dinners. But now, looking back, the signs were there. Tiny hairline fractures in the foundation of our marriage I've been too busy or too trusting to notice. She'd started upgrading her wardrobe before these trips. "The firm expects a certain image, Ethan," she'd said when I'd remarked on the new designer suitcase and the sudden abundance of silk and cashmere. Her phone, which used to live on the kitchen counter, now had a password I didn't know and was permanently attached to her hand. Our intimacy had become scheduled, routine, almost transactional. 6 months ago, she'd started talking about how we needed more excitement. "Let's go to Reno," she'd suggested one night. "See a show, gamble a little, live dangerously." I'd love the idea. "Great, let's book it for next month." Her enthusiasm had dimmed. "Oh, actually, I was thinking of a girls' trip with Melissa. You know, get some spa time, gossip. You'd be bored." The trip never materialized, or so I'd believed. Now a terrifying question echoed in the new cold hollow of my mind. How many of her business trips had actually been excursions to Reno? I stormed back downstairs to my office and booted up my laptop. Chloe managed our finances. It made sense with her background, and I'd been happy to relinquish the duty. Now, with trembling fingers, I logged into our joint accounts and credit card portals. What I found made the bile rise in my throat. March, $3,450 charged in Reno over a weekend. The same weekend Chloe was supposedly at a team-building retreat in Lake Tahoe. January, $2,900 in Reno charges. She told me she was visiting a sick college friend in Palo Alto. December, a staggering $5,200. That was the weekend of her company's extravagant holiday party that ran so late she'd just gotten a room in the city. I went back further. November, October, September. Every single month, like clockwork, there were charges from Reno casinos, high-end boutiques at the Galleria, 5-star restaurants, all on cards with my name on them, all occurring during her supposed work trips. The scale of the deception was monstrous. I called Liam back. "I need your help," I said, my voice sounding foreign and flat to my own ears. "Whatever you need, brother, name it." "I want to know everything. Every time her face has appeared in your casino, every single dollar she's spent, every person she's been with. I want it all." Liam was silent for a long moment. "Ethan, are you sure you want to open this door? Once you see what's behind it, you can't unsee it." She's been systematically lying to me and stealing from me for God knows how long. She's been using my money, my credit to fund her affair. "So yes, Liam, I'm very sure." "All right," he said, his tone all business now. "I'll make calls. Surveillance keeps footage for years. Financial records are meticulous. Give me 48 hours. I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark workshop, running my hands over the smooth, unfinished cherrywood of the desk. A project built with integrity for a client who trusted me. The irony was a bitter pill. Liam called back 2 evenings later. "You need to be sitting down for this." I was in the workshop applying a first coat of oil to the desk. I set the rag down. I'm sitting. Her name's all over our system. It goes back 14 months, Ethan. 14! And it's always with the same man. His name is Marcus Thorne. 14 months. That predated our last anniversary, the romantic weekend in Napa where she seemed distant. It predated the Christmas where she'd been more interested in her phone than in opening gifts. Marcus Thorne, I repeated, the name ash in my mouth. He's a regular, big spender from Silicon Valley, runs a venture capital firm. He always books the same penthouse suite. Chloe gets her own room, but they're connecting. She uses your cards for everything except the room. He covers that, probably to keep it off his own statements. I closed my eyes, trying to control the tremor in my hands. How much, Liam? Total. A pause. $72,400. The number hit me with physical force. It was more than the profit from my 3 largest projects last year combined. It was life-changing money, stolen life-changing money. There's more, Liam continued, his voice grim. I spoke with our head of security, a woman named Val. She's been in this business for 20 years. She says Chloe and Marcus aren't just having an affair. They have a routine. They have favorite tables, favorite dealers, a favorite server at the steakhouse. They have a standing couples massage appointment at the spa every Saturday morning. Val says they act like a long-married couple on their annual vacation. The detail was devastating in its intimacy. It wasn't a passionate fling, it was a second life, a comfortable, funded, luxurious alternate reality. Liam, I need it. All of it. Every receipt, every frame of surveillance footage, every sworn statement from every employee who's ever served them. I want a mountain of evidence so high she can't even see the summit. Ethan, what are you planning?
I'm planning to show my wife what happens when you mistake a builder for a building you can walk all over. She thinks I'm just a simple craftsman who doesn't look at the fine print. She's about to learn that I am very, very good at reading blueprints and spotting flaws in the foundation. Liam understood. What do you need from me? Everything you can get, and I need it documented so thoroughly that her lawyer will advise her to settle before a judge sees it. That's a tall order. Good, because when I'm done, she's going to understand the true cost of fraud. She's going to learn that the most dangerous thing you can do is betray someone who knows how to dismantle things carefully and rebuild them from the ground up. I looked around my shop, at the tools purchased with money she'd stolen, at the projects I'd poured my soul into while she was in a penthouse suite with another man. Can you do it? I'll have it for you in a week. One more thing. She cannot know, not a whisper. Understood. I hung up and tried to go back to oiling the desk, but my vision was blurred with a cold, furious rage. Chloe came home on Friday afternoon, all bright smiles and practiced nonchalance. She breezed into the kitchen where I was pretending to work on my laptop. "How was Sacramento?" I asked, not looking up at the screen. "Dreadfully boring. You know how these things are. All buzzwords and bad coffee." She set a gift bag on the table. "But I brought you something." Inside was a mug with the state seal of California and a bag of artisanal coffee beans from a famous Sacramento roaster. The sheer audacity of the lie took my breath away. "Thanks, honey," I said, my voice steady through a superhuman effort. I pulled up the credit card statement on my screen as she went upstairs to unpack. Scrolling through the recent charges, Reno, NV, Wednesday through Friday. Dinner at La Mer, $420. Spa services, $350. Shopping at the Atrium, $1,200. Tickets to a Cirque du Soleil show, $450. Not a single charge from Sacramento. "Ethan, honey," she called from upstairs, "can you come help me with something?" I closed the laptop and went up. She was in our walk-in closet hanging up new clothes, a crimson cocktail dress with tags still dangling, a cream-colored cashmere sweater that cost more than my weekly payroll. What did you need help with?
Just wanted to see you, she said, smiling and wrapping her arms around my neck. She kissed me. Her lips felt like a betrayal. I missed you. Did you take any pictures at the conference? Of your team? Oh, God, no, she laughed, a little too quickly. It was all death by PowerPoint. Nobody takes pictures. Besides, my phone died halfway through the first day. I forgot my charger. Was completely off the grid. Another lie, layered on top of the first. I helped her hang up the clothes, each expensive garment feeling like a piece of evidence. That evening, we had dinner and watched a movie. She was affectionate, touching my arm, laughing at my jokes. I played my part, the dutiful, oblivious husband, but inside I was an iceberg, 9/10 of my mass, a hidden, frozen fury. On Saturday morning, she announced she was meeting her friend Sophia for lunch and to see an exhibition at the Crocker Art Museum. After she left, I called Sophia. Hey, Sophia, it's Ethan. Just checking. Did you and Chloe decide on a time for lunch? Lunch? She sounded confused. Ethan, I'm in Monterey for my nephew's wedding. I won't be back until tomorrow. Did Chloe think we had plans? My knuckles turned white around the phone. My mistake, I managed to say. I must have misheard her. Have fun at the wedding. Another lie. Even her casual Saturday plans were fabrications. I called Liam immediately. The surveillance footage is even more damning than I imagined, he said. High def, audio on the casino floor in some areas. I've got them for 3 days straight. They're not even trying to be discreet. Send me samples. Now.
I opened the email and the video files he'd sent. There was Chloe, at a baccarat table, leaning against Marcus Thorne as he placed a bet. Another clip showed them, faces close, sharing a joke in a dimly lit lounge, his hand resting high on her thigh. A third, from a hallway camera, showed them stumbling, laughing, into a hotel room, his hands already pulling at the zipper of her emerald dress. In every frame, she looked vibrantly, incandescently happy. My phone buzzed, a text from Chloe. Lunch ran long with Sophia, then the exhibition. Might do some shopping, home by dinner, love you, XOXO. I stared at the text, then back at the video of her in another man's arms. That was the moment the last vestige of heartbreak was incinerated, leaving only the pure, cold fuel of vengeance. I called Liam back. Change of plan. I don't just want evidence for a lawyer. I want to confront them. I want to be there, in the room, when the entire fantasy world they've built comes crashing down. Confront them? Ethan, that's... She thinks she's smarter than me, Liam. She thinks I'm a fool. I want her to see my face when she realizes the fool has been holding all the cards the whole time. And I want Marcus Thorne to be standing right next to her when it happens. How? The next time she plans one of her trips, you're going to help me be there, with my own cameras, with witnesses. I want to orchestrate a reckoning so complete she'll never be able to lie to anyone again without seeing my face. Liam was quiet for a beat. That's playing with fire, brother. She's been playing with my money, my trust, and my life for over a year. It's my turn to control the blaze. That night, Chloe came home with shopping bags from Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus. She claimed everything was on sale, a final season clearance. A pair of shoes that cost $800, a leather jacket that rivaled my mortgage payment. This is quite a haul, I remarked, keeping my tone light. Big bonus hit? Something like that, she said airily. A girl has to treat herself once in a while, doesn't she? With my money, I thought, you've been treating yourself for 14 months. You're absolutely right, I said, smiling. You deserve every bit of it. She beamed and kissed me goodnight. I lay awake next to her, listening to her breathing, and plotted the meticulous demolition of her life. Liam's full dossier arrived on Tuesday morning. It was a masterpiece of damning evidence. Over 80 pages of meticulously compiled documentation, credit card statements, ATM withdrawal records, hotel folios showing the connecting rooms, surveillance photos and video stills, and transcribed interviews with casino staff. The depth of Chloe's deception was breathtaking. She hadn't just used our joint cards, she'd called the banks, impersonated me, and opened 2 additional premium cards in my name, having them sent to her office.
The spending was even more brazen than I had initially discovered. Private gambling lessons, luxury retail sprees where she'd bought clothes for him, a $4,500 Patek Philippe cufflink set with an engraving, 2M, all my love, always, C. But the most gut-wrenching part was the employee testimony. The baccarat dealer knew them as Marcus and his lovely wife. The sommelier at the steakhouse recalled them celebrating their anniversary last month. The spa receptionist mentioned how Chloe always requested the same couples massage therapist for her and her husband. She hadn't just been having an affair, she had been erasing me and replacing me in a glittering, fraudulent world. I found Marcus Thorne online easily. Thorne Ventures, based in Palo Alto. His About Us page featured a professional family portrait. Him, a woman named Elizabeth, and 2 young girls with smiling, gap-toothed grins. They lived in a sprawling estate in Atherton. He looked every inch the successful, devoted family man. I wondered if Elizabeth knew his husband's business trips to meet with startups were actually romantic getaways funded by a cuckolded builder from Elk Grove. I called Liam. We're expanding the operation. Expanding how? Marcus Thorne is married. His wife, Elizabeth, has no idea. She deserves the truth as much as I did. More, maybe. She has kids. Ethan, dragging an innocent woman into this. Marcus dragged her into this the day he decided to cheat with my wife. I'm just handing her the map. I need one more favor. What now? I need to know Marcus's schedule, his next standing reservation, and I need to know the second Chloe books her trip to match it. Liam called back within the hour. Marcus has a permanent hold on the Sierra Penthouse for the 3rd weekend of every month. His next check-in is in 9 days. As for Chloe, no booking yet, but the pattern is undeniable. She'll book something this week.
He was right. That Wednesday, over dinner, Chloe mentioned another trip. Another summit. This one's in Fresno. I fly out Thursday afternoon, back Sunday. Fresno? I asked. I thought you said you hated Fresno. The client is there, she said, a little too quickly. Needs hand-holding. It's a huge account. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Will you miss me? Always, I said, looking directly into her eyes, pouring all the double meaning I could into the word. I miss you every second you're gone. She smiled, utterly oblivious to the trap that was about to spring. I'll miss you too. That night, as she slept, I finalized the plan. I would drive to Reno on Thursday morning. Liam would have everything ready. I would document everything myself. And then, when the moment was perfect, I would confront them together. But first, a call to Palo Alto was in order. Elizabeth Thorne needed a front row seat to the destruction of her husband's secret life. Thursday morning, Chloe kissed me goodbye, promised to call from Fresno, and drove off. I watched her go, then loaded a bag into my truck and began the 2-hour drive to Reno. Liam met me in the lobby of the Silver Legacy, his face a mask of concern. You sure you're ready for this? I've never been more ready for anything in my life, I said, my voice calm. He had set me up in a management-level suite with a panoramic view of the casino floor. He'd provided high-powered cameras, recording equipment, and a direct link to the security command center. Val is coordinating everything. Whatever you capture, it will have the official footage to back it up. At 4 p.m., my phone rang. It was Chloe. Hi, sweetie. Just landed in Fresno. It's so hot here. Ugh. Through my powerful lens, I watched her and Marcus walk through the casino, heading for the elevators. She was carrying a new designer weekend bag. How's the hotel? I asked. Standard chain stuff, But the client meeting isn't until tomorrow, so I'm just going to order in, maybe take a bath, and have an early night. The elevator doors closed on her and Marcus. That sounds relaxing. Get some rest. I will. Love you, Ethan. Love you too, Chloe. I ended the call and started recording. For the next several hours, I documented their entire evening. A romantic dinner where they shared a kiss over dessert, a stroll through the casino, his arm around her waist,
A session at the high-stakes slots, feeding $100 bills into a machine, laughing like teenagers. They signed for everything with my credit card. At 9 p.m., I called Elizabeth Thorne. "Mrs. Thorne, my name is Ethan Stone. I'm calling about your husband, Marcus." A hesitant, well-educated voice answered, "Yes. Is everything all right? Has there been an accident?" "No accident, but your husband is currently in Reno, Nevada with my wife. They've been having an affair for 14 months. The silence on the other end was absolute. Then a sharp, disbelieving laugh. "That's absurd. Who is this? What kind of cruel joke is this? Marcus is at a tech conference in Austin." "Mrs. Thorne, I'm looking at him right now. He's at the Silver Legacy Casino with my wife, Chloe. They're checked into the Sierra Penthouse suite under his name. I can send you proof." I heard her breath catch. She was starting to believe. "Proof? What kind of proof?" "Surveillance photos, financial records, hotel receipts, a great deal of proof." She began to cry. Quiet, devastated sobs. "We have 2 daughters. He just coached Bella's soccer game on Saturday." "I am truly sorry," I said, and I meant it. "But you deserve to know the truth. I am here to confront them. I wanted you to have the same information I do." "What are you going to do?" she whispered. "I'm going to make sure they can never hide again. What's your email address?" I sent her the entire dossier Liam had prepared. 40 pages of her husband's meticulously documented double life. Then I called the front desk. "This is Ethan Stone in Suite 3015. I have an urgent message for Mr. Marcus Thorne in the Sierra Pet House. Please inform him that his wife Elizabeth has been trying to reach him. It's an emergency concerning his children." 5 minutes later, I watched Marcus check his phone at the roulette table. His suave composure evaporated. His face went pale. He grabbed Chloe's elbow, whispering frantically in his ear. Their perfect evening was shattered. Panic set in. Phase 2 had begun. I gave them 20 minutes to retreat to their suite, to panic, to try and call Palo Alto. Then I took the elevator to the penthouse level. Liam's master keycard slid into the reader with a soft, definitive click. I knocked firmly on the ornate double doors. "Who is it?" Marcus's voice strained. "Hotel security, sir. We need to speak with you regarding a disturbance." He opened the door, dressed in a hotel robe, his hair disheveled, his eyes widened in pure, unadulterated terror when he saw it was me. "Hello, Marcus," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "We need to have a conversation." I pushed past him into the opulent suite. Chloe was pacing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, clutching her phone. She wore a sheer negligee. She spun around, and her expression morphed from anxiety to sheer, unvarnished horror. "Ethan, how is Fresno, sweetheart?" I asked, dropping a thick, heavy manila envelope on the glass coffee table. It split open, spilling its contents like poisonous flowers. $72,000 worth of fun, was it? Chloe's hand flew to her mouth. She looked from the photos to me and back again, her brain short-circuiting. You had me followed? You spied on me? I didn't need to. My brother Liam is the casino manager here. Did you forget that? Every smile, every kiss, every dollar you stole is right here. Documented. Witnessed. Marcus started edging toward the bedroom. "I'm calling the real security."
"Go ahead. Ask for Val. She's the one who helped my brother compile this little portfolio for you." Chloe found her voice. It was a shrill, desperate thing. "Ethan, please, you have to let me explain. It's not what it looks like." "Which part?" I asked, my tone glacial. "The part where you've been introducing yourself as Mrs. Thorne? The part where you bought him cufflinks with my money?
or the part where you've looked me in the eye and lied every single day for over a year?" She started to cry, real tears this time. It happened. I never meant for it to go this far." Marcus stepped forward, trying to regain some control. "Look, man, this is unfortunate. We never meant to hurt anyone. Let's talk about this like adults. We can come to a financial arrangement." I laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You've already made your financial arrangement, with my credit lines. But it's going much further than that." I turned to him. "Elizabeth knows Marcus." All the color drained from his face. "What?" "I called your wife 3 hours ago. I emailed her everything. The photos, the receipts, the testimony from the spa receptionist about your monthly couples massages. She's filing for divorce in the morning. She's taking your daughters. She's taking the house in Atherton. She was very grateful for the evidence." Marcus Thorne, Silicon Valley titan, crumpled into a plush armchair as if his bones had turned to dust. I turned my gaze back to Chloe. "And you are going to discover that identity theft and felony fraud carry very real prison sentences. The casino has signed affidavits, video of you signing my name on credit applications. You wanted the high life, Chloe. You've got it for about," I checked my watch, "10 more hours." I walked to the door, then paused, looking back at the ruins of their paradise. Checkout is at 11 a.m. There's a Greyhound bus station downtown. The schedule is online. And when you finally make it back to Elk Grove, you'll find divorce papers waiting for you. I've already moved your things to the garage." I left them there, surrounded by the glittering evidence of their lies, their world in ashes. 3 months later, the divorce was final. I signed the papers in my lawyer's office in Sacramento. Chloe sat across the table, represented by a public defender her family had scrounged to hire. The mountain of evidence from the casino made contesting the terms impossible. She received nothing. No alimony, no share of the business, no share of the house's equity. She got to keep her car and her massive personal debt from the fraudulent credit cards she was now solely responsible for. Sterling and Crest had fired her immediately for gross misconduct and fraud. Her professional licenses were revoked. She faced multiple felony charges. Her sentencing was still pending, but orange was likely to be her new color for a while. Marcus Thorne's downfall was equally complete. Elizabeth took him for everything in a brutal divorce. The scandal rocked his venture capital firm, and several key investors pulled their funds. His reputation was in tatters. I kept my business, my house, and my integrity. I hired a forensic accountant to go over every cent and installed new financial controls. The business, unburdened by Chloe's secret spending, began to thrive again. Liam visited me the weekend after the divorce was final. We sat on my back porch overlooking the land I owned, free and clear. "Any regrets?" he asked, sipping his beer. I watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. "I regret that the woman I loved never existed, but I don't regret exposing the truth. I sleep just fine." "What's next?" "I build houses," I said, raising my bottle to him. "I live honestly, and I never, ever ignore the blueprints again." The revenge had been cold and calculated, but the peace that followed was warm and real. I had dismantled the rotten structure of my old life, and now finally I was free to build a new one on a foundation of truth.